Hi, I'm Chaplain Crubaugh, and this is my wife, Chrissy, and we've been in the military together for 24 years.
My name is Crubaugh. He was reserve for most of that time.
For about 22 of those years.
And I did not go with him with our kids because it was just, mobilizations every now and then. And I stayed home on the farm with the boys and raised them and took care of things.
I'd say how we came into the military was kind of unique. I was a school teacher, and we invited a group of recruiters to come to school. And Chrissy and I actually worked in the same school. And so when these recruiters came in, you had the Navy talking about travel and the Air Force about jobs in the that you can do in the civilian world, and the Army talked about paying off college. And I know we were trying to get out of debt, and so he looked in the back of the room and he says, "Mr. Crubaugh, do you have any school loans?" And I did. I had a lot of school loans. And so he said, if you had joined the military, those would all be gone. And so I went home that night and I said, "Chrissy, what do you think about me going in the military to get rid of these school loans?" And it was a decision we made together to go in the military. And of course,
he was in basic training, found out I was pregnant with our first child. And we were
changed.
older. We were a little older
I was 28,
going into this.
Yep. And I remember going to drill that weekend, and all of we were all in formation, and the sergeant major said, "Hey, we might have to mobilize or deploy." And we'd actually talked about what if that happened, and you were like, "You need to go." And so when that happened, everybody in that formation stepped forward and signed up. I'll never forget that day, and just knowing I had Chrissy supporting something like that, and that really would come to pass. I would mobilize to deploy. I don't know how many. Mobilize to deploy 5, 6 times. It
seemed like as time went on, fast forward to our boys are graduating high school, and I'm still on the farm, and I'm still teaching, and still kind of holding down things. There was a lot of mobilizations. We had about 5 years there where I really didn't see him a whole lot.
Pretty much back to back.
The kids didn't see him a whole lot, and I got pretty tired at that point, and really wanted to be part of this. So once the kids were raised, and our last one graduated high school, we just began to pursue, let's do this full time if possible.
Right. So I applied for AGR and also did a co-ADOS at Fort Bliss, and that was the first time that we got to go together.
Yeah, so 50 years old and just starting this new adventure in the military. And it was easier not having kids. I know having your children, moving your children from place to place, and we didn't have to do that at that point.
They were all in college.
Because they had gone on, but they have loved visiting every place we've gone. I think maybe because we're older, we really embrace wherever we are. To me, it's an adventure. We get to explore new areas, see new things, and we love it, really.
And I think, sometimes you always focus on the negatives about being in the military as a family, and it's for Chrissy, a lot of times that's when the washing machine would break, or the refrigerator would give out, or the
animals would die.
Yeah, animals would die on the farm. It always happened when I was gone. But there was one time where I really saw the advantage of being in the military, and that was with Caleb. Our oldest. We were a tree had fallen over the fence, and we were out there cutting that tree up, and we were using the tractor to haul logs back, and one of the pieces on the tractor broke. It was an important part. It's called the elevator that kind of steadies the back of the tractor, and I was so frustrated. I was upset, and Caleb's like, "Well, I can fix that," and I was like, "How are you going to fix a broken part on the tractor?" And come 20 minutes later, he shows up with it perfectly welded.
Welded, because he had learned to weld
while
his dad was gone.
You know how to weld?
So
you have a welder?
I guess the advantage is it can be good and bad. But with dad being gone, and I was already had so many things to do, the kids were able to really take on more responsibilities, and it ended up being a really good thing. You definitely learn to become more independent. You realize that you can do things that you didn't think you could do before.
Like talking on the telephone and taking care of business.
Taking care of business.
Yeah,
really good at that now.
Which I don't think that was necessarily your strength when we started.
Yeah, I wouldn't have enjoyed that before, but I definitely can take care of business.
You manage the finances.
Most of the, if I have to fly the kids in, if I have to, I'm the one that's kind of organizing all of those things. And yeah, so I would say.
I feel like a lot of times when I come home, I'm supporting you, instead of the other way around where you're supporting
and this
me
is the first time that I'm not working outside.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just being available.
Yeah.
And that's been, I think, really good for both of us too.
Yeah. It's
different, but sometimes I'm like, he's like, stop trying to manage me, and I'm going, I gotta have something to manage. The kids are in college.
Well, they say that whatever your
so
rank is, your wife
volunteerism
is at least one, maybe two ranks above. So when I come home, I'm coming home to, Colonel.
I'm definitely trying to manage him.
She's in charge. Yes, ma'am. I'll take the trash out or whatever.
But there are opportunities to volunteer, like in the coffee shop, and to still be supporting you and also supporting your ministry.
Right. Well, I'm glad that we can do this together. I think I speak for all military members when I want to say thank you to our spouses and children, because we couldn't. I know I couldn't do this without your support.
Happy Military Spouse Appreciation Month.